This is East Asia, part of Native Instruments' Spotlight collection featuring unique instruments from all over the world. Whether you're creating a soundtrack with an Eastern flavour, or need some authentic percussion and melodies to spice up your music, East Asia has the flexibility and creative spark to inspire you. East Asia runs in the free Contact Player, Complete Control, and is fully NKS compatible, making use of the key colours and dials of your NKS hardware. This extensive library of over 50 instruments has been recorded on location by talented performers who grew up with these sounds. The patch list includes percussion and solo melodic instruments from China, Japan and Korea, along with useful ensemble percussion options. This collection not only includes playable instruments with a large number of articulations, dynamics and variations, but also a huge collection of traditional and contemporary MIDI loops and phrases, composed by the performers themselves. These aren't static pre-recorded loops, but fully customizable tempo-synced grooves and motifs utilizing the playable articulations, along with MIDI that can easily be exported to your DAW project. Let's dive a little deeper. This is the main interface for East Asia, similar for all of the instruments with a few variations that I'll point out as we go along. If you're already familiar with the range of other instruments in the various Spotlight collections, then you'll feel right at home. Taking the Chinese erhu as an example, the 5 tabs across the bottom of the interface are for the performance window, setting up authentic scales, the mixer window for balancing levels and dialing in reverb. Note that this window has expanded functionality for the percussion ensembles where you can balance the various instruments. For percussion, the mapping window shows where each instrument and articulation is laid out across the keyboard, as well as a red range at the bottom of the keyboard for the phrase triggering. For melodics, there are red articulation key switches with detailed explanations for each articulation shown here. Purple phrase performance keys, and a blue playable range. Lastly, the options window contains some global controls such as pitch bend and aftertouch behaviour for bending notes, or other parameters for the percussion patches. Let's look at the phrases first. For quick and easy access to the most popular performance collections, each instrument has a number of presets, accessible just here. Choosing one will load 6 phrases to the purple keys. Play them by pressing the keys, or you can cycle through and play on the interface too. The original composed tempo of the phrase is shown just here, but you can also sync this to your host DAW tempo, or switch it into half or double time. Don't forget that these phrases are MIDI based and are triggering multi-sampled articulations, so changing the tempo won't degrade the sound. The phrases will just be played faster or slower for a natural reproduction. The selection of phrases is totally different for all of the various instruments. To assign different phrases to performance keys, click into the Edit menu and choose from the browser categories. Then you can edit phrase playback by switching individual sections on and off, shortening the phrase, adjusting the start point, or even shifting the notes up and down. So now perhaps you can start to see how you can get creative with the hundreds of included phrases. If you want to play phrases yourself, use the blue key range. The blue keys will conform to the chosen scale and root key that you select just here, and any notes that are not naturally part of that scale will be coloured purple and trigger useful ornaments instead. These are essential and expressive playing techniques that will bring authenticity to your parts. A quick look at the scales that you can perform with Eastasia, which apply to the phrases and to the blue playable range. As well as the easy access scale selector just here, there are more options within the scale window. You can even edit scales to apply particular ornaments and articulations to notes in the scale. The performance slider at the top left of the interface gives you an easy way to play embellishments and is mapped slightly differently for each instrument depending on the playing style. For example, with the Yangtsin, the mod wheel is mapped to tremolo. Whereas with the shakuhachi, the mod wheel controls dynamics. For individual percussion patches, the mod wheel is mapped to fill speed, so you can easily create a dynamic crescendo. With the percussion ensembles, the performance slider and mod wheel are mapped to the overall balance, focusing playback on the deeper drums when pulled down and highlighting the top end when pushed up. A couple of other notes specific to the percussion patches. Firstly, the mapping is consistent, so you can easily swap from one type of percussion instrument to another, and the playback will be retained. Secondly, these three dials give you more detailed control, with groove, feel, and intensity affecting the weight, dynamics, and humanization of the phrases. Contact 6 brings drag and drop MIDI functionality, and this has been integrated into Eastasia. Just play a phrase, and then click here to drag the MIDI part into your DAW. Articulation key switches, dynamics, and even your chosen scale will be retained in the transferred MIDI data, and you can edit this however you like. Before I sign off, just a couple of other things to mention. Each instrument has its own key switches, specifically for playing in unique techniques on the fly. In the case of this instrument, note fades and vibrato. There are also special ornaments triggered at high velocity. Look out for these sounding note additions amongst the various other instruments. Each instrument also has a selection of useful sound presets, from classic timbres to more hyped up processing for commercial music, or even ambient for more chilled out vibes. Cycle through them just here, or for more detail you can open the mixer window and see which spacers and reverb settings are being used, and of course adjust them to taste. Clicking into the instrument and main tabs opens up EQ, ambience and tape saturation options. I've only scratched the surface of the myriad of melodic instruments and percussion of East Asia. This is a comprehensive collection of inspiring instruments to add authentic Eastern phrases and rhythms to all kinds of music. For more information and audio demos, head to nativeinstruments.com. And thanks for watching.